A mother pushing for the truth this morning. What the school district says an officer did on top of slamming a sixth grader to the ground that cost him his job.
Also, call for help turns into criminal charges. A deputy flagged down fines more than he expected this morning. A driver is in big trouble.
And this.
I'm sure that he has his side of the story he'd like to tell. We would love to hear that side of the story.
Breaking overnight, a kidnapping suspect now under arrest. What we know this morning from deputies still to come. Good morning, everybody. Breaking overnight, the man who deputies say abducted a 9-month-old baby is now behind bars. And we did some checking and found that 23-year-old Lorenzo Benali was booked into MDC just after 2 a.m.
Yeah, Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputies said Benali's run from the law came to an end just hours ago near I-25 in Montano. That's where we find News 13's Catherine Mazzone with the very latest. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Crystal. I'm not far from where hours of searching came to a close. BCSO posted on their website that the manhunt had ended. They say they arrested 23-year-old Lorenzo Benali on their social media sites at around 11. No details yet on the circumstances surrounding the arrest, but we do know what led to it. Investigators say Benali took off with 9-month-old Ariana Smith Monday afternoon. They say he and the young girl's mother were watching ATV riders on the mesa when the two started fighting. That's when deputies say Benali got into her SUV and drove away, knowing the little girl was inside. An Amber Alert led to a flurry of tips, including one to an off-duty deputy. When he showed up to a parking lot near Cibola, the deputy found little Ariana still inside her mom's SUV. She was dehydrated and alone, but otherwise safe. Now, Ariana was taken to a local hospital. She is expected to be in CYFD custody for the next 48 hours. Benali, on the other hand, well, we checked MDC's site, and it looks like he is facing charges of child abuse, kidnapping, and auto theft. Back to you.
All right, thanks for that update, Catherine. Now, we will continue to update you on this story as new information does come into our newsroom. Keep it here on KRQE News 13, also through our KRQE News app. Another big story this morning, of course, the weather. Kristen Curry is tracking rain, even snow for some parts of the state. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning, Crystal. Yeah, today's going to be a big day for moisture here in New Mexico. We already have a good amount of shower activity going out across western and southern portions of the state. So let's take a look at the Doppler radars. You can see some of that even snow out in Catron County for the higher elevations. We do have a little snow up there in far southeastern McKinley County, but nothing here in the metro just yet. Most of that activity is down over the Boot Heel, and we'll be watching some of these light to even moderate showers kick up in Grant County right now, pushing to the north. All of this is drifting to the north, so make sure you have that umbrella with you today. As far as the currents go here in the metro, we're about 47 degrees right now. Winds are light out of the northeast at about 5 miles per hour. But overall, today is more about the rain and the mountain snow. Temperatures will be cooler than average, but the warm-up kicks in as early as tomorrow, and the dry out continues too. So today is a big day when it comes to the rain, the snow, and even some thunderstorms. I'll break down the timing and just how much coming up here in about 15 minutes.
All right, right now coming up on 504, new video shows what looks like a woman trying to flag down a deputy, honking as he drove by as if she needed help. But this morning, she is a suspect, not a victim. The video shows the Santa Fe County Sheriff's deputy driving near Santuario de Chimayo just before midnight last week after a van passed, honking the horn several times. The Santa Fe County deputy says he thought the driver was in trouble, but when he pulled her over, he suspected she was the one causing trouble. The driver, 50-year-old Gloria Silva, admitted to drinking before driving a van full of family members, including 2 children.
Touch them heel to toe. Need them touched just like how I'm touching? Need you to do the same thing.
I can't.
Why?
The deputy arrested Silva for driving drunk and driving without her license. Silva does not have a criminal history. Despite the children in the van, an incident report shows the district attorney's office opted not to charge her with child abuse.
Get ready to see more orange barrels in just days. City leaders are expected to hold a meeting to talk about a proposed I-25 Rio Bravo interchange project, and you're invited to attend. Improvements are planned along the I-25 corridor between Prince Street and University. The project includes reconstructing the interchange to handle future traffic volumes and the demand there. The meeting is scheduled for Thursday night at 6 at the Mountain View Community Center. Find more details on our website, krqe.com.
This morning, UNM officials are still waiting to hear just how big a controversial problem on campus really is. Just days after sending an independent survey to students, another new report shows sexual assault and harassment reports are up at the state's flagship university. According to the Albuquerque Journal, 138 people reported an assault in 2015. That's up from 46 in 2014. In 2015, more than 50 reports were filed for sexual assault and more than 70 were for sexual harassment. The investigations resulted in one person being fired, 2 people being suspended, and 1 expelled. In 2014, the DOJ announced an investigation into UNM's policies regarding sexual assaults. Officials attribute the rise to better awareness and where victims can go for help, and not an increase in violence. It's a one-of-a-kind organization aimed at helping victims of sexual and domestic assault.
And now the nonprofit is looking to raise money to pamper those nurses who dedicate their time to helping the victims. News 13's Sarah Yingling has their story that's new this morning. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Crystal. They're called Albuquerque SANE, which stands for Sexual Assault Nurse Examiners. There are 16 on-call nurses who work for the organization while holding down full-time jobs.
Most of the nurses, we have other jobs. We do this job because we have a conviction to it.
The nurses have extensive training. They collect evidence from a rape or domestic violence situation. They counsel the victim and provide support. It's the only organization like it in the metro area. Director Teresa Dianza says it takes a special type of person to do this.
Working with survivors of sexual and domestic violence can be very difficult because you have to listen to their experience in order to be able to determine how to conduct that medical and that forensic exam.
To give back to the nurses and to raise money, SANE is hosting a fundraiser for a day.
We want to pamper them and show them the love they deserve.
They'll get haircuts, massages, and manicures. A little something for the nurses who give so much. Sarah Yingling, KRQE News 13.
So the event is April 17th in Albuquerque. For details on how to buy a ticket, plus more information on SANE, visit our website, krqe.com, or our KRQE News app.
Next week, the Albuquerque City Council is now expected to consider a test project allowing riders to bring their pets on board Albuquerque buses. A City Council committee approved it last night. Councilor Trudy Jones proposed the project, which lets anybody bring 1 dog or 1 cat on buses anytime outside the morning and evening rush hour. The city hopes it can now market itself as pet friendly. If the full council approves it next week, the test will run from July through the end of the year. We'll see if that shakes out.
Yeah.
All right, 5:08 happening today. The man accused of murdering former NFL star Will Smith in a road rage incident is expected to face additional charges.
That does include allegedly shooting Smith's wife. That's video captured by a bystander showing Cardell Hayes in handcuffs moments after he allegedly killed Smith and shot his wife Raquel in the leg Saturday night. Hayes' attorney maintains his client acted in self-defense, though.
A Texas school officer is off the job today after he was caught on camera body slamming a student to the ground and then allegedly lying about it. In video posted on YouTube, you can see the officer slam the 6th grade girl to the ground. And district officials say that officer was supposed to report any time that he made physical contact with the student. But instead, they say they found out about it when the video went up online. They also say the officer said the girl fell in his report, which he filed 1 day after the incident. No word this morning on whether he'll be able to work at another school.
Now 5:09, calling all cooks and rescuing one of their own. A firefighter falls into a burning home. How his fellow brothers saved his life this morning. The touching letter he wrote thanking them.
And parking proposal, the idea some UNM students have come up with to avoid permits and parking tickets, but why the school says it won't work.
Also breaking overnight, an Amber Alert arrest just hours ago. The man deputies say abducted a 9-month-old baby. Setting off a statewide search, is locked up. The details starting now.
And we'll begin with news breaking overnight. The man deputies say abducted a 9-month-old baby is now behind bars. We did some checking and found that 23-year-old Lorenzo Benali was booked into MDC just after 2 a.m.
Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputies say Benali left the young girl alone but safe yesterday evening. They say he remained on the run until deputies took him into custody late last night near I-25 in Montano. That's where he joined News 13's Catherine Nazone with the very latest. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Crystal. I'm not far from where hours of searching came to a close. BCSO tweeted and Facebook last night that this is not far from where the manhunt ended for the man they say abducted a 9-month-old girl. They say they arrested 23-year-old Lorenzo Benali at around 11 last night. No details yet on the circumstances surrounding the arrest, but what we do know is what led to it. Investigators say Benali took off with 9-month-old Ariana Smith Monday afternoon. They say he and the young girl's mother were watching ATV riders on the mesa when the two started fighting. That's when deputies say Benali got into her SUV and drove away, knowing the little girl was inside. An Amber Alert led to a flurry of tips, including one to an off-duty deputy. When he showed up to a parking lot near Cibola High, the deputy found little Ariana inside her mom's SUV. She was dehydrated and alone, but otherwise safe. Ariana was taken to a local hospital where she was treated. She is expected to be in CYFD custody for the next 48 hours. When it comes to Benali, he's facing charges, according to MDC's site, of child abuse, kidnapping, and auto theft. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Catherine. We will continue to update you on the story as new details do come into our newsroom. Keep it here on KRQE News 13. Also check our KRQE News app. On now to another big story this morning. Rain in our forecast. Kristen Curry is tracking it all. Good morning.
Good morning. That's exactly right. We have widespread showers and even some light mountain snow out there now, favoring western and southern New Mexico, but there's more to come. Here in the metro, haven't seen anything just yet, but these showers are pushing to the north. So your Doppler radar showing most of this pushing a little bit further to the north and northeast. It's getting closer to the Duke City, but nothing just yet. Most of that down over Grant County, Catron County, stretching out towards Otero County and up towards the northwest. So make sure to keep that umbrella with you and nearby today, because you'll notice 47 is where we're at now with those light winds. But I've got even some spot storms in the forecast for us here in the metro throughout the day. Scattered rain and mountain snow, our top focus. Although we will be cooler than average this afternoon, cooler than yesterday too. But warm up and dry out kicks back in tomorrow. I'll break down everything you need to know about today's rain, snow, and even the possibility of thunderstorms coming up here in about 10 minutes.
All right, Kristen, thank you. Happening today, residents of Rio Rancho will head to the polls to decide 2 city council seats in a runoff election. The polls open at 7 this morning in that runoff, and voters will decide city council seats for both District 1 and District 6. Because in last month's election, no one got 50% of the vote. In District 1, former Mayor Jim Owen is up against Josh Hernandez. David Bensey and Lonnie Clayton are each vying for the District 6 seat. For a list of polling locations and voter information, check out the links section on the KRQE News app.
This morning, a New Mexico firefighter is waiting to see what discipline, if any, he could face after a photo showing a woman breastfeeding in a uniform surfaced. This is the picture in question. It shows a woman in a Las Cruces firefighter uniform breastfeeding her child. The woman's wearing her husband's firefighting gear. An El Paso TV station reports the firefighter is facing discipline after the picture surfaced. The photographer behind the picture is upset that the message behind the photo has been lost.
We are pushing that boundary between a male-dominated role and where we're bringing in femininity into that position.
The Las Cruces Fire Department is not commenting, saying it is a personnel matter.
Time 5:35, developing now. A new plan is in place this morning for an APD program after concerns about possible conflict of interest. APD recently got a federal grant to partner officers with mental health professionals every other week so that officers can learn how to better work with people in mental crisis. But some city councilors had a problem with the group the city first chose to coordinate the project, called CIT Inc. That's a nonprofit run by APD officers. Today, we've learned the city is handing full control over to UNM. Pat Davis initially raised concern, and he says he now agrees with this change.
This is a win for accountability and transparency, and it goes to show that we can include other community partners like UNM in helping to make the APD better, and we should be doing more of that.
UNM's Project Echo will now oversee the entire $131,000 program, which is expected to run for the next 2 years.
Double check your fridge this morning. Resser's Fine Foods is recalling its refrigerated salads in 29 states. That does include New Mexico. The company is pulling the salads after possible listeria contamination. The various salads are also sold under different names at stores like Walmart and Safeway. The affected products have use-by dates ranging from April 27th to May 16th of this year, and always followed by a stamped number 10. For a complete list of recalled salads, head on over to our website, KRQE.com.
As students head to class at UNM today, some of them are pushing for free parking on campus.
It'd be a really good idea because, I mean, we already pay for tuition and everything's so expensive.
A student submitted a letter to the Daily Lobo calling for free parking on campus, but Parking and Transportation says it's not an option. Last year, the department had a nearly $8 million budget. That money pays for the maintenance of the parking structures, lots, shuttle buses, and for workers.
We'd have to figure out alternative forms of funding. And for a lot of the universities that do not charge for parking, it comes out of student activity fees.
Parking permits run anywhere from $175 to $500 per year. The parking structure is charged by the half hour.
It's a pretty penny. This morning, a California woman is facing up to 9 years in prison for setting a blaze that almost killed a firefighter. Now that firefighter's family is thanking his fellow first responders for saving his life. Take a look at this dramatic cell phone video captured the scene as Fire Captain Pete Dern was fighting the garage fire. There you go. He fell right in. That's after he climbed onto the roof. He fell into the smoky structure below, and that's when his fellow firefighters jumped into action, beating down the garage door, then pulling him out to safety. Dern's wife thanked his heroes on his behalf during a ceremony this week.
You gave my wife back her husband, my daughter back her dad, my mom back her son, and my sisters back their brother.
And that was Dern's wife reading a letter that he wrote. Dern suffered 3rd and 4th degree burns over 70% of his body. He is expected to make a full recovery, and we do wish him well this morning.
That was a terrifying video.
Oh, yeah.
When we first saw it there.